What do you make of that, Graeme? I mean, Alan talked about him looking shell-shocked at the final whistle, but that reaction there...
He will be. He's been let down by his players. These players are not good enough to play for Arsenal. Arsenal are a big football club. Tremendous tradition, been very successful in the last few decades, but they're a country mile away from where they need to be right now. They're not a very good team. End of. You know, just before the game, I thought I'll write down the players you know, you put your house on for Arsenal. And I like Leno, I like Tierney. We know Aubameyang's a top player. And I'm going through the rest of them. I'm struggling. I've got 3 there. Lacazette, bit hit or miss. And right now, they're having a difficult time. But we know, you know, this is Arsenal. This is one of the biggest clubs in world football.
Mikel talked about total domination. In the first half, Arsenal had 1 attempt on target. Did you see the same game that Mikel Arteta was talking about there?
I understand where you come from. You know, you need to be positive for your team. I can't say Arsenal had a bad game, you know, because they had, like, chances. And I think it was a big, important point when Saka got the red card. But like Graeme say, his player, they let him down. He's a young manager. He come with great idea. He want to play a nice football. And I'm sorry, his player, they let him down. And they are not good enough. But I can't say they play bad tonight.
Alan, let me bring you back in. Graham's talked about these players not being good enough. But at some point, do we have to start pointing the finger at the manager, even though he's still less than a year into the job?
Well, I was a big advocate of him getting the job in the first place, and I think it was the right decision. I think he's a talented coach and a good manager in the future. But the fact that actually they gave him the tag of manager rather than coach, I thought that was a mistake from the hierarchy. I don't think there's any need to do that, give him that extra responsibility. But yeah, I mean, he has made mistakes, I think, and you will along the way. Extending David Luiz's contract, I think. Willian seemed a strange signing, 32, and he's on a lot of money. Somebody like Cedric Suarez coming into the club. You know, they're spending a lot of the wage bill on players of a certain age, where I think if you went with youth, yeah, there might be a bit of pain along the way, but at least you'd be heading in the right direction. So, yeah, I mean, Arteta at the moment, he will be scratching his head, wondering how he's going to turn it around. And as a manager, you're only as good as your players. And as Graeme said, he hasn't got a good enough group as things stand. He's got some promising lads who are doing well in the Europa League. And I said this week, I wondered if it was time to put just 1 or 2 in to mix it up a little bit, to change the dynamic. And I think he'll be looking at that now for the Southampton game and beyond, because he needs to do something. He needs to change this pattern and try and get back on the right foot. And I don't think they did play badly tonight. They gave it their all. They got into some positions where, when they were playing well, they'd have put those chances away. Aubameyang, Lacazette, the 1 or 2 there, they could have easily gone out and won the match 2-0. But the way things are going, it doesn't happen for you, and the situation looks as worse as it does. I can't remember a time really where Arsenal have been in this kind of position. Even those with long memories, the mid-70s, early 80s, that Arsenal didn't have great teams. But, you know, look at them in the table, and it's not great to see.
Can I highlight something, Smudge? I think the manager and the staff have to hold their hands up. Elneny, 28 years old. Could have got sent off. I think should have got sent off. Raised his hands inside the box. Now, you're setting your team up. Ex-players, we're all ex-players. You set your team up yesterday defensively. Who in his staff thought it was a good idea for Elneny to be a marker at a set piece, when Elneny is ignoring the ball completely and just staring at his man and raises his hand and goes down, pushes the guy down, he goes down pretending he's been pushed. He should have been sent off there. Now, who has looked at the situation and thought he can be one of our markers? And if he does that once, you don't have anywhere near marking a player. Now, that guy's 28 years old. I mean, someone in his staff must have seen that and thought, not sure about that, boss, let's put someone else there. Someone on the staff has to go, that's down to me. Did you ever play with a player who did that? I never.
Players do things at times that must exasperate you as a manager, Graeme, and that was one of those things. I think when you're under the cosh, as I said, players react in different ways, don't they? And he did something there that he's probably never done before.
Smudge, well, so that was the first time at 28 years old he's done that. You know what it's like? You learn at 15, 16 how to mark properly, and it's in your head. If you've got half a brain, it's in your head forever. Now, don't tell me that Elneny's not marked someone in the past at a set piece for Arsenal and shown signs that he might not be very good. And that they could easily have gone down to 9 men tonight, and in my opinion should have gone down to 9 men.
No.
Now someone in the coaching staff must have seen that in them and thought, we can't have him anywhere near marking someone.
Well, I'm not sure he's done that before, because if he had have, another VAR would have sent him off.
I know I'm putting it on you. You're standing in the stadium, your club. I'm sorry.
He's exasperated, but I think you raised the point, Alan, on a general point about Arsenal. How low can this go? You know, has this bottomed out? Is this as bad as it gets, or could it get even worse?
Well, I mean, listen, Southampton are a form team, aren't they, at the moment? We saw that the other day. What is it, Everton after that? That's going to be difficult. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? That is the really worrying thing about this. How do you stop the slide? They just got to hope that they can nick a win somewhere along the line and gradually build confidence. But, I mean, for Arteta and his coaching staff, you know, when they get back into training tomorrow or the next day, I mean, they're going to have to lift themselves as much as lift the players, I would imagine, because they'll all be on the floor.